Hello, what is up? Here I am in December. I have been in Colombia for 6 months, which is pretty crazy to think about. And so I've been in my site for 3 months, which is also very crazy to think about. And I haven't done a lot of updating because I haven't had a lot to update, which is a little hard. These first 3 months have been difficult. Not work-wise per se, but more emotionally. And I think it's hard to realize that part of my job is also my personal life. I don't have that separation like you do in the US of a more typical 9-to-5 job where, you know, you go to your location of work and you do your work, and then you're done and you get to go to your personal life and do whatever you do there. For me and for Peace Corps volunteers, it's just 24/7. You are working because not only is it your projects, but your socializing is work. And part of your job is to be this community liaison. And so even if you're going out to buy bread or vegetables or, you know, just take a walk, you have to be on. You have to be ready to socialize, ready to have a conversation and explain who you are and what you do and all of that. And on top of that, of living in a country where it's not your first language, it can be really intimidating. And sometimes you wake up and your brain just isn't working. I can't think in this other language, and people are trying to have conversation with you and you just can't do it. And it makes you feel so bad. I've been having a hard time, especially because, believe it or not, I'm a bit of an introvert, and for me it's really hard to go make myself meet new people. And so honestly, I think I've failed in some ways these first 3 months of maybe I haven't met enough people, maybe I haven't put myself out there enough. And so it's really hard to find that balance of self-forgiveness and also feeling like you're just a dummy. So that's a little bit of what's going on. So as I said in my last video, when I arrived in October, it was getting near the end of the school year. The school year ended like the 3rd week of November or something. So that's done. That's The colegio is my main focus. I have a very motivated principal. I have a really great counterpart. There's an established entrepreneurship program that is looking to get some new life in it, some new motivation, some new direction. So I'm very excited to be working with the colegio and get to work with some of the students. They have some very specific goals in mind, which at the same time I'm feeling a little bit of pressure about, but in a good way. It's nice to be wanted. Some of the colegio goals are going to be working on the entrepreneurship curriculum. They are open to doing an after-school club, entrepreneurship club with me. They're interested in leadership. The Venn diagram of leadership and entrepreneurship is fairly overlapping, and I have had a lot of theater experience. That was very intriguing to the rector, and so I think we're going to plan on doing some leadership charlas or presentations with the students. Maybe I can incorporate some of my theater to help them with public speaking. And so the principal wants me to even look at doing charlas with the little kids, the primary kids. So not only am I going to be working with high schoolers, probably going to be working with some of middle schoolers, but got those primary kids in there too. So that's very exciting, and I hope it goes well. But in other ways, I don't have anything else to really do. What I've noticed about my community is there are a lot of small businesses. There's a lot of tienda culture here, which how to translate to the US would be like mom and pop general stores type of stuff. So there is a lot of that business. And then in my site in particular, there is big nightlife. It's not like some other sites where there's not like formal clubs or anything. It's a bit more casual. Here they call their nightclubs casetas, KZ caseta. And that's kind of like a patio that has a DJ. In Colombia, there's a lot of, or at least in the coastal, you need to be very specific when you're generalizing about what part of Colombia you're talking about. From my experience in Atlántico, in the coastal Colombian region, kind of street bars are a big thing where it's just like patio next to the street. There's the alcove where the owner is with the cash box, where you go in to order your beer, but then you take the beer and sit on the patio and have your beer and people watch. Also, they play music so loud. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how loud the music is. It just vibrates in your brain and you can't hear anything. And then for me especially, I don't speak Spanish. Well, I do speak Spanish, but not very well. Well, okay, reasonably well. I do speak Spanish, but it is a foreign language for me. And so on top of that, of some mind-numbingly loud vallenato and some guy trying to speak to you in Spanish, and you're like, so there's a lot of that business, and there's like this certain part of town that just has these cantinas, they call them, on either side. And it's like a battle of the bands with their stereos. Part of another reason I have tried to avoid like going out and doing any of that. If you know me, you know I like going out, you know I like dancing, I like having some drinks with friends. I'm a social person in that aspect of if there's a planned, organized thing with people I know, I'm a very fun person. But I have been a little reserved with some of that because with a lot of my work at the colegio, the principal told me that he wants me to be a leading example of a good citizen. Drinking alcohol and being a good citizen are not mutually exclusive. They can overlap, and I would like to say I'm present in that middle ground. But there's something just that makes me really uncomfortable about maybe going out to a bar and seeing one of my students. I can't do that. And I don't really want a lot of community members to see me having drinks. There's people that I don't know very well that might get it in their brain that this American is just here to get drunk, and like, even if it's one time and I have one beer, something about it just immediately, no thank you. That has been a tangent, excuse me. Main point I'm trying to get at is there is a lot of that small business, but most people aren't looking to improve. They're pretty content with what they got. I'm interested to see because we're finally getting an aura, which is, how to explain it? What would be an equivalent of a US store? It's a supermarket, but it's like a good supermarket. It's a supermarket, but it's like a good supermarket. In the sense of they have really good prices. So I'm very excited that we're getting an aura. But that's going to have an impact on the tienda culture. I don't know if some businesses are going to go out of business, which is going to be a huge effect on the town. I don't know if then there may be more people that are interested in having some business advising. Christmas is almost here, and can you believe it? I'm excited. I am probably one of the most notorious, biggest Grinches out there. I usually am not festive for Christmas, and especially here because it's 90 degrees. But this Christmas, I get to go to the beach, and my family is coming, and I haven't seen my family in 6 months, and I'm very excited to see them. And then for New Year's, I'm gonna stay in town and celebrate New Year's with her and hang out with the neighbors. I call her my host mom, but maybe host grandma would be a little more appropriate. And so a lot of the senior citizens know me in town. That's my friend group. I'm 22 going on 73, so that's awesome. That's just a little update. I'm trying not to delve too deep into it all because that's just gonna be crazy. But for now, thanks for tuning in again. Don't forget, it's Cat in Columbia live. Not very frequently. Bye. So that will be interesting. Ooh.